we know from prophecy that the Antichrist is going to rise up and call himself God in the tribulation temple, and that temple has got to be there in order for prophecy to be fulfilled. And if it's not there, this pushes things back a little bit. Well, in 1967, when it looked like Israel was going to grasp and hold the Temple Mount, Christians got really excited.
Gary, for those who believe in a mid-tribulation rapture, that's not imminency. Because imminency means at any moment.
At any moment.
And if we have to see the Antichrist rise, if we have to see the peace accord confirmed, Daniel 9:27, or anything thereafter, whatever it takes place, like the trumpet judgments or whatever, anything that has to precede the rapture of the church makes the rapture not imminent.
Now, having talked about imminency linked with, and Paul the Apostle links imminency with the appearance of the man of sin in the holy place. It has to be a holy place in existence for that to happen. Having talked about imminency, let's talk about the period of time. It's a very shady transitional period, kind of nebulous period prior to the 7 years of the tribulation. And J.R., we don't spend much time talking about this period ordinarily. But it has occurred to me that the Bible spends quite a bit of time talking about it. For example, in Malachi chapter 4, verses 4 through 6, Malachi says this, "Remember ye the law of Moses my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, the heart of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." Now, Elijah's coming before the 7 years of the tribulation. How far before?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
What about the Antichrist?
And what about the Antichrist?
He's got to ride forth before the tribulation begins. He can't come along and confirm a covenant,
right,
unless he has the credentials to do so.
And another big question, is the church still present on earth during the time when Elijah is working to bring the hearts of the fathers to the children to the fathers before the tribulation? I don't think so. I don't think the church is going to be on earth during the period of Elijah, which means the church is gone before the tribulation.
So the title of his article here in the September 2009 edition of Prophecy in the News is The Pre-Tribulation Rapture. You get that? It's not just a pre-tribulation rapture, it's a pre-tribulation rapture. Listen, you got to get this article and read it for yourself, huh? I want you to do that. You can call the phone number at the bottom of your screen, 1-800-475-1111, and order the magazine for $2.95. That's the September issue. I would like to encourage you to subscribe for the next 12 months when you make your call, because for only $34.95, you can request to begin with the September issue if you want to, and we will send you 4 free books, big, thick books. Let me show them to you. These are 4 books that I have written. This one called They Pierced the Veil and Saw the Future. It's a study of the 12 minor prophets of the Old Testament. Their message, of course, concerns the end time. Guardians of the Grail and the Men Who Plan to Rule the World, the Rise of the Antichrist out of the Roman Empire, and may I say his roots in the Greek Empire as well. Hidden Prophecies in the Song of Moses, the man who wrote the 5 books. Everything he said and did is a prophecy. And I go into that very meticulously to show you things that I guess most other theologians have missed. Then this one, The Mystery of the Menorah and the Hebrew Alphabet. This talks about the meanings of the Hebrew letters, how God could invent the world, the universe, create the universe using the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and the mystery of the menorah, those 7 golden lamps of the lampstand. It was once in the tabernacle, then in the temple. And the servant lamp that stands above them. What does it mean? There's a mystery there, and it's revealed in this book. These 4 books can be yours absolutely free if you will subscribe to Prophecy in the News magazine today. So don't put it off any longer. Call us, will you? And subscribe today. Gary?
Well, J.R., going a little further with the theme of Elijah, every Passover, during the Passover Seder, the host of the Seder will pour the 4th cup, and also the cup of Elijah. They set a place for Elijah at the Passover in the belief that each year Elijah could come back and do the work that he is appointed to do to bring Israel into the kingdom. And as that 4th cup is poured, the host reads these words: "Pour your wrath upon the nations that do not recognize you, and upon the nations that do not invoke your name, for they have devoured Jacob and destroyed his habitation. Pour your anger upon them, let your fiery wrath overtake them, pursue them with wrath, and annihilate them from beneath the heavens of the Lord." Now, this is the cup of Elijah. And what the Jews are saying here is that when Elijah comes, he's going to lead Israel against the enemies, and the enemies will be defeated in a miraculous way. J.R., if he's coming before the tribulation, when does that happen? Could that possibly be coincident with the battle of Gog, of the land of Magog? Because we know that Israel defeats Gog in a glorious way and begins the process then of rebuilding. And the Bible says, according to Malachi, that Elijah is going to be there at that time.
And there are ancient rabbinical writings that say that Elijah will come at the battle of Gog and Magog, or during the season or the time when that battle is brewing. Now you have another verse here by Joel talking about the sun turning black, the moon turning to darkness, the moon into blood, and then it says, before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes. So that's a pre-tribulation astronomical problem too.
Yeah, and get the language here. Joel is warning Israel. This is, by the way, a latter-day prophecy. Joel 2:20, I believe it's 29, 27. And I will show wonders in the heavens, the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness, the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Now this would be the time when Elijah has returned. And it's a time when the sun's turned to darkness. It's a time when there are pillars of smoke and fire. What makes a pillar of smoke, pray tell? We've all seen the films of the hydrogen bomb tests.
Yes.
That's a pillar of smoke. And it causes particulate matter to rise into the upper atmosphere. It could blot out the sun. It could be volcanism. Volcanoes do the very same thing. Like when Krakatoa exploded, the whole world was shrouded for a period of about a year in dust that made the sun dim. And it made the moon look reddish. Well, this could be far worse than that. And it happens before the tribulation, when Elijah is present. So now we're beginning to put together a picture of a pre-tribulation catastrophe of some sort that sets up a scheme that will allow the Antichrist to emerge as a dominant figure. In other words, the Antichrist doesn't come out of thin air. According to Revelation, he rides forth conquering and to conquer as one of the 4 horses. We have the horse of war. We have the horse of economic collapse. We have the horse of famine and of pestilence. And J.R., it's in this context that the Antichrist rides forth, that we have Elijah coming. Where's the church? This is before the tribulation. And where's the church at this time?
We don't know exactly when the church is going to be taken out, but the church could be around to see some of this begin. I'm not saying that we have yet. We do know that back during our election, a white horse was quite prominent.
Yes.
And we've talked about that in the past. The white horse was named El Barak. And I'm not talking about the name of our president. I'm talking about the name of the horse that supposedly Mohammed rode to heaven and back from the Temple Mount, and that Allah told him that in the last days